Hello, class. In this lesson, we are going to explore the origin producing techniques of the cinnamon as a TCM material. 1. Processing process of cinnamon and cassia twig. Firstly, we should understand the quality requirements for cinnamon. Character requirements for cinnamon medicinal materials stipulated in Chinese Pharmacopoeia. This product is in groove or roll shape, at the length of 30 to 40 centimeters, width or diameter of 3 to 10 centimeters, and thickness of 0.2 to 0.8 centimeters. Its outer surface is gray-brown and slightly coarse, with irregular fine wrinkles and transversely raised pores, and some have visible gray-white stripes. Its inner surface is reddish-brown and slightly flat, with fine longitudinal strains, and will show oil trace if scratched. Its texture is hard and crisp, easy to break, and the cross-section is not flat. Its outer layer is brown and relatively coarse, while the inner layer is reddish-brown and oily, with a yellowish-brown line between the two layers. It has strong fragrance and tastes sweet and spicy. We will learn the processing process of cinnamon. We will also introduce the processing process of cassia twigs. Processing process of cassia bark: harvesting, purifying selection, drying, purifying processing, grading, and packing. Processing process of cassia twig: harvesting, purifying selection, cutting, drying, purifying processing, and packing. Now, let's learn the production and processing processes of each step. Step 1: Purifying selection. The cassia bark is gotten rid of branches and leaves and other non-medicinal parts and impurities, washed with air press, and then rinsed with a high-pressure water gun to remove the sediment and impurities attached to the surface. Cassia twig branches and leaves and other non-medicinal parts, diseased twigs and impurities are removed. Step 2: Cutting. Shredded cinnamon. The cinnamon after purifying selection is gotten rid of the impurities in coarse bark, and is cut into shredded cinnamon at the width of about 2 centimeters for drying, or cut into thick slices at the thickness of 1 to 2 centimeters by a slicer, for drying in the shade or under low temperature, below 50 degrees Celsius. Cassia twig slice. The cassia twigs after purifying selection are cut into segments at the length of about 2 centimeters when they are fresh, or cut into thick slices at the thickness of 2 to 4 millimeters with a slicer when they are fresh and wet, for drying in the shade or in low temperature, below 50 degrees Celsius. Step 3: Drying. Cut the cassia barks after purifying selection into shredded cinnamon and cassia twig slices, and then place them on clean and dry cement ground for drying in the shade or in the sun or under vacuum low temperature condition, not exceeding 50 degrees Celsius in general, and flip over in a timing way, to control the water content below 15%. Step 4: Purifying processing. Place the dried cassia bark or cassia twig on a clean sorting table for sorting, to remove the pieces and impurities. 2. Processing method of cinnamon and cassia twig. We must process medicinal materials in compliance with the standards in Chinese Pharmacopoeia. Next, we will continue to understand the requirements for quality, specification, and origin producing environment of medicinal materials. Requirements for quality of cinnamon in Chinese Pharmacopoeia are as follows. Quality requirements. The best quality cinnamon is characterized by being unbroken, heavy, with thin outer bark, thick flesh, purple-red on the cross-section, high oil content, strong aroma, sweet and spicy taste, and leaves little residue when chewed. Test item: water content shall not exceed 15%. Total ash shall not exceed 5%. Content determination: if determined by the determination method of volatile oil, and the content of the volatile oil shall not be less than 1.2% milliliters per gram. If determined by the high-performance liquid chromatography method, the content of cinnamic aldehyde shall not be less than 1.5%. Processing method of different specifications of cinnamon. Qibian. Peel the bark from a cinnamon tree that is over 10 years old, cut both ends into an oblique surface to highlight the guashine, and compress both ends to curl inward into a shallow groove shape. Ban. Peel the bark near the ground from the lower part of an old tree, 20 years or older, and compress it with a wooden cassia clip into a flat tabular shape. Yu. Peel the bark from a tree that is 10 to 15 years old, and then process it by pit stewing method. Guitong. It is also referred to as guan gui, which refers to the bark of a young tree that is 5 to 6 years old, and then left to curl into a tubular shape naturally in the sun for 1 to 2 days without compression. Guashine. External cork of the cinnamon bark has been removed, and its surface is reddish-brown. Gui sui. This refers to residue chips during processing process of cassia bark, without removing the corks. and they are in patch or short roll shape of irregular sizes. Specification of cinnamon medicinal material. 1. Guan Gui is also known as guitong. It is in semi-groove or cylinder shape, at the length of about 40 centimeters, at width of about 1.5 to 3 centimeters, and bark thickness at 1 to 3 millimeters. Its outer surface is gray-brown, and the one with cork removed is reddish-brown, and is generally known as guaxin. 2. Qi Bian Gui. It is in long lamellar shape, with both left and right sides curling inward, and the center concaving downward, at the length of 40 to 50 centimeters, width of 4.5 to 6 centimeters, and thickness of 3 to 6 millimeters. Its outer surface is gray-brown, and its inner surface is reddish-brown. There will be a brown oil trace if you scratch it with your nails. 3. Ban Gui is also known as Gui Nan. It is in lamellar shape, and is generally at the length of 30 to 40 centimeters, at the width of 5 to 12 centimeters, and at the thickness of about 4 millimeters. The sections on both ends are relatively coarse. Then, let's get to know the requirements for cinnamon origin producing environment. The site for producing should be relatively independent, clean, and well ventilated, with facilities to prevent rain, birds, livestock, rodents, etc. The equipment in the site should be specially allocated and stored in a clean, dry, unpolluted, and pest-free independent space. Before producing, an inspection of the site and equipment should be conducted to ensure they are clean and sanitary, and this should be recorded. The site should meet the requirements of GB 14881. That's all for the content of cinnamon origin producing techniques. Have you grasped it?